What is up, everybody? Greg Helbeck here. Don't mind the lighting. It's a little funny at this time of night. It's 8 o'clock at night almost here. So when the sun goes down, it gets a little weird with the lights, but hopefully the audio is coming over well. So this week on my REI weekly lesson, I want to start a series of the biggest mistakes that I've made so far in real estate. It's probably not going to be in order. I'm probably going to do like one of them this week, and then I'll do some more like content on like actual strategies or whatever, and then I'll just kind of like insert these little mistake videos throughout the content as you guys have been watching consistently. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Greg Helbeck. I've done over 100 properties, and I try my best to put out content like this on my podcast and obviously on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, and most importantly, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching this on social media, if you can, like when I say social media, Instagram, Facebook, if you can like it and then comment on it or share it, it would mean a lot so we can keep growing the viewership on these. So biggest mistake so far I've made in the business, and I still make it sometimes, I'll be honest with you, is getting involved in deals I don't understand, right? And I'm going to use an example on a deal that I did last year. It was last year, where I did this and I lost money. So the main point I want to say is, as a real estate investor, or at least in my career so far, and this is the only thing I've ever done ever since I got out of college, this is the only career I've ever had, has been a self-employed real estate investor. So I've been doing a lot of it for over a half a decade now. When I get involved in properties, I truly don't understand. I'm going to define that in a minute. It usually leads to two things: a lot of stress and a lot of just like confusion, where I don't have confidence because I've never done it before, right? So what do I mean by getting involved in deals I don't understand? So in the real estate business, every investor, whether you're a solopreneur or whether you have a team like me, there's going to be a core competency that you're going to develop over time. And if you're new, that could be wholesaling, it could be renovations, it could be lease options, it could be doing assuming the mortgage or subject to deals. It could be rental properties. I mean, it could be rehabbing, it could be, doing triple net leases, who knows, right? But you're going to develop a niche eventually. And when you develop a niche, you get really good at it because it's the main thing that you focus on. And generally, it will lead to success. It'll generally lead to financial success, whether you have a bunch of equity and cash flow or you're making a lot of profit. And over the last 5 years, 6 years now, time flies, my core competency was simply buying and selling one-unit properties, single-family homes, condos, townhouses, simply doing that, right? Usually they're houses. A lot of times they're condos now, but it's the same concept. It's a one-unit property. And that's basically it, right? So when you get involved in something you don't understand, what you're doing, I'm just clicking out my computer here, is you venture into uncharted waters. And you when I say get involved, I mean you buy and close on. This is not an assignment deal. You buy and close on properties that you're not familiar with. So in 2020, at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I wanted to be a commercial real estate investor. I said, the hell with single family houses. This is ridiculous. I'm tired of doing these little itty bitty deals, even though I was making a lot of money. And I said, I want to be a commercial investor, and I'm gonna do that. But I think the way that I went about it in the start was really stupid. But anyway, I said, I'm buying vacant buildings, and I'm gonna do this huge value add strategy, and I'm gonna go out here and just dominate and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I ended up getting a property that was actually a good deal on paper. Keyword there is on paper. I bought a vacant mixed-use building kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I had no idea what I was doing. I had a lot of liquidity, and I said, I'm just going to buy this thing. I'm going to get a hard money loan. It actually took me like 5 lenders to give me the loan because they were all like, dude, what the hell is this? Anyway, I got the financing. I put a huge down payment down. This thing was totally vacant, no one in there. On a septic system, and it had all these quirks with the property, and it was all like, literally the thing would like rock. Like if you went into this property and you actually like stood there and like rocked around, you would feel the building move because it was so damn old. Anyway, I ended up getting involved in that thing, and I tried to sell it right away because it wasn't renting, and then I couldn't find a tenant, and then I found tenants, and then there was like crazy stuff in the house, which is another video that almost got me sued, and there was like it was just a disaster. There was needles in the wall. There was just people pissed off. It was a total shite show, to say the least. And I ended up getting saved by the market. I ended up selling the property and losing about $10,000, which is not fun, right? Listen, it's a lot of money. I don't care if you've been doing deals for a while or if it's your first deal. Losing 10 G's is never fun. It could be worse, right? But also, I could have been a lot smarter. And yeah, so I lost money on it. A lot of stress, a lot of headache, a lot of headaches, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of wasted time driving there because at the time I was actually living in New York for like 4 months. But I really just got my teeth kicked in on this thing from a financial and from an emotional standpoint. And I was reflecting on the deal when it closed. I ended up, long story short, what ended up happening was I couldn't sell it, and then I rented it, and then the tenants got crazy, and then they ended up staying somehow. And then I ended up putting it back on the market with renters in it, and somebody like made a crazy cash offer and closed in like 30 days. So it was total, in my opinion, it was luck, but also the market is and was really strong. So anyway, what ended up happening was I lost some money, and I was reflecting on it. I was like, let me like figure out like, why did I lose money on this? Like, what went wrong? Like, where are the areas where like you just screwed up, right? And I'm like talking to myself. And the main point that kept coming up as I was reflecting, I was like, well, I bought this property and I had no experience buying commercial buildings. This was a mixed use commercial building. So there was a storefront and there was some apartments above and next to it. And I never did a deal like that. I had rentals, right? So like that was pretty straightforward. Like I had single family and condo stuff, like, so that was like already what I knew. But I never did a multi-building, let alone a commercial building, which is totally different when it comes to getting financing. I had no experience. I was not aware of the work that it needed, which cost me a lot more than I thought. And I wasn't aware of how that market was. I wasn't, like when I say that market, I knew the market it was in physically, but I didn't know the commercial market. I didn't know the demand for tenants. I didn't know a lot of things, right? And I still have a lot to learn. But I just didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't truly understand how to operate a deal like that, especially being in California, which makes things, in my opinion, easier, but also sometimes harder, depending on what's going on. So the main lesson was I just got involved and bought this deal I didn't understand. I was thinking I was going to lose 50 grand. I ended up only losing 10, which still is a lot of money. I'm not trying to like downplay that, but I could have lost a lot of money, right? And it would have been it would have sucked, right? It would have not been fun. So I realized that next time I get involved in deals that I don't understand, that are outside of my core competency, I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to, number one, either bring on a partner to do the deal with me who knows what they're doing. I'm not going to bring on some other person who doesn't know what they're doing, because then you got the blind leading the blind, which usually leads to a rotten alley. But I'm going to bring on a partner who's done a deal like that successfully, who has a track record, and they're going to be able to help me do the deal as well as share into the financial upside. So that was thing number one. Next time I do a deal that I don't understand, I'm going to bring in a partner and split the profit with them, or split the equity, or whatever. Bring someone in who really knows what they're doing. I'm going to do that. And then the second thing, I'm going to stick to the fundamentals that I originally threw out, like that I originally came up with on this deal. And I had this like little set of stuff I was going to buy. And one of the criteria was like not vacant, right? And this happened to be vacant, and the deal happened to make sense on paper. So I said, forget about it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I broke my rule, and it ended up costing me some cheddar. So the biggest lesson, like I said in the beginning of the video, is me getting involved in deals I don't understand, right? And if you're watching this and you're a new investor or you're an experienced investor and you want to like jump into other niches because you're bored. And by the way, when you're bored, usually it's when you're making the most money. I've learned that like literally time and time again. When your business becomes boring, you're probably making more money than you ever had, and you should just let it do its thing and grow it, and don't think that you're, got some Midas touch, because you probably don't. So getting involved in deals I don't understand. That was big lesson, or big REI mistake I've made so far. So if you watch this and you thought it was valuable, let me know your thoughts. If you're on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe. to the channel. I want to get to 1,000 subs in the next 90 days. If you're on social, like the video. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, like the video. Let me know in your comments what your thoughts were on this. Maybe did you do a deal that was stupid like me? And if so, I'd like to hear your story, because maybe we can, trade some more stories together and get smarter as we collaborate with each other. So don't get involved in deals you don't understand. If you do want to do this and you want to branch off into an area you're not familiar with, my advice would be to partner up with somebody who knows what they're doing, who's done it before. They have to have done it before in order to partner with them, because if they've not done it before, and even if they have money, it's a recipe to lose money, most likely, or just get really stressed out for a while. So if you're new and you want to get involved in the single family business or the condo business or even the duplex business, because that's something I'm familiar with, hit me up. I'd be happy to partner with you if you're local to the San Diego area, or especially if you're up in the Hudson Valley. That's like my core area. Hit me up. If you want to do a deal with me, I'd be happy to either buy your property from you if you're a wholesaler, or if you want to wholesale through my database. If you're brand new, there's a really good chance you'll almost positively make more money splitting the deal with me through my list than you would if you had just 2 or 3 buyers. And it's not guaranteed, but it's highly likely. We just did one about 3 weeks ago. Well, we got an offer accepted, and now we're getting the contract, where the wholesaler, a good friend of mine, he brought me the deal, and we're going to split a massive, 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 massive profit. And it was through my list. It was through our process that we have to sell deals for top dollar when they're deals. That's the key there. So I know I'm ranting at this point. It's a little over 10 minutes, about 11-minute video. Hope you like the content, and stay tuned for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.